Modi and business tycoon Adani are close allies. Their fate is intertwined. Adani Enterprises tried to raise funds in the stock market, but failed. Adani is accused of stock manipulation, and his stock collapsed like a house of cards. Modi is silent on the subject, but he will have to answer questions from foreign investors and in Parliament.
This is a part of the interview with George Soros where he is talking about India. But who is this George Soros and why are people paying attention to his commentary? George Soros is a Hungarian-American billionaire investor, philanthropist, and political activist. Soros is the founder of the Open Society Foundations, which supports democracy and human rights in over 120 countries around the world. He is also known for his successful investment career, particularly his involvement in currency speculation that earned him billions of dollars in profit. Soros has been a controversial figure in some circles due to his political activism. British pound shorting. In 1992, George Soros and his hedge fund made a large bet against the British pound. At the time, the pound was part of the European Exchange Rate Mechanism, ERM, a system designed to limit currency fluctuations between European countries. Soros believed that the British pound was overvalued and that the country's economic conditions were not strong enough to justify the exchange rate with other European currencies. He and his hedge fund began selling large amounts of pound sterling in the foreign exchange market, effectively betting against the currency. As more investors followed Soros and also began selling the pound, the value of the currency began to decline rapidly. In an effort to defend the pound, the Bank of England intervened by raising interest rates and buying pounds, but it was unable to stem the currency's decline. The pressure on the pound continued to mount, and eventually, the British government was forced to withdraw the pound from the ERM, a move that became known as Black Wednesday. Soros and his hedge fund reportedly made a profit of over $1 billion from currency speculation, while the British government suffered significant losses in its attempt to defend the pound. Soros' statement on India. During a speech at the Munich Security Conference on Thursday, George Soros suggested that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi would need to address concerns raised by foreign investors and Parliament regarding allegations against the Adani Group. Soros further asserted that Modi has a close alliance with business tycoon Adani and their fortunes are interconnected. Adani is accused of stock manipulation and his stock collapsed like a house of cards. Modi is silent on the subject, but he will have to answer questions from foreign investors and in Parliament. Since then, the controversy surrounding Adani has continued, with ongoing debates over the company's environmental impact and financial practices. Adani has continued to deny the allegations and has sought to defend its reputation, while critics have called for greater transparency and accountability from the company. So what's in it for investors? Historically, Soros has been infamous for toppling currencies and has made huge returns. It is uncertain whether this is another such occurrence for him or not. But provided that India is still a developing nation with the highest expected growth rate even in these turbulent times where economies are failing. You can check my video in the description where I have explained the big changes the Indian economy has undergone that makes it a favorable destination to invest. Any incidents like this can disturb the markets, especially equities, but in the long term, if the growth story is intact, there is huge potential for upside. Moreover, the financial backbone of a country is its banks. As most of the banks have disclosed their exposure to the Adani companies, they seem to be pretty covered compared to their loan book. As far as Adani companies are concerned, they still have a lot to answer and have already taken down a lot of beating, and it appears that this trend will persist for some time. So investors, especially retail, should try to stay away from companies that have associations in this Adani-Hindenburg episode and explore companies that are least likely to get impacted. Check the India growth story video in the description. We will meet again. Till then, sayonara.